Gamers, we're 3 months down. I think we've officially got a series on our hands. I've made a playlist for this series to consolidate the episodes that I'll link in the description right below the like and subscribe buttons. March was pretty chill, and because of some big life changes, good ones, don't worry, I had a lot of time to play video games. And that I did. I finally buckled down and made my way through Hogwarts, so this will be the last time you hear of it. I will say that overall I liked it, but I am glad to be done and on to different things. Like I said, I played a lot of other games this month though, so let's stop wasting time with this intro block and get right into the action. Sony had a state of play near the end of February that was pretty bad. I'm still waiting to see more footage of Little Devil Inside, but that was nowhere in sight, and that Suicide Squad gameplay footage was yikes. Most of the showcase was a snooze fest, but this little gem looked so weird and charming, and it was really the only thing that interested me. After the trailer, they hit us with a demo available now, so I downloaded and played it on the first day of the month. I want to start off by saying that I don't usually like puzzle games, but I loved every second of this. The blueprint is pretty simple. You play as a cute little dog and use commands to lead the group of humans to the Pillar of Light at the end of every level. But even in the small selection of levels in the demo, they've demonstrated just how much you can do with this. There are levels with limited humans, so you can't just send them off a cliff, ones where you have to lead specific golden humans through obstacles that steal them away, but my favorite was the very last level in the demo. In this level, you have to plan out all of your commands before the level starts, and this was when I really started to realize how diverse the gameplay can get here. The minimalist aesthetic is really pleasing to me, and apparently you'll even be able to create your own levels in the full game. This might be the sleeper hit of the year for me, and I can't wait to play more in May. Stoneshard is a brutal grid-based tactical RPG, and it may be a little too brutal. It took me like 6 tries just to beat the first mission. I really like the basis for what they have here, and I'm not afraid of a tough game, but I feel like when you purposely make a game really challenging, it's crucial to meet the player halfway, especially since this is an RPG and you could potentially die and lose a lot of progress due to RNG. Combine this with the way vision works, and it feels like you're really discouraged from exploring. Like, you could at any moment walk past a tree line and find yourself in a 1v3, a fight you are not gonna win. Overall, I think the biggest problem with this is that there are just too many ways to die and very few accommodations made for the player. The option to save whenever you want outside of combat instead of having to find a place to sleep would immediately remedy this for me. That might seem a little handholdy, but it would make the game a lot more approachable, and it would still be up to the player to save, so you wouldn't have to use it if you didn't want to. On the bright side, this game is really pretty. I think the pixel graphics suit this perfectly, and it also seems like there's a lot of build diversity. Maybe the sword and shield is overpowered, but I had a lot more success with them after switching from a dual-wielding build. Lastly, I do think it's worth mentioning that this is an early access game, and it seems like they haven't updated it in a while, so that might be something to be wary of if you have your eye on it. So I've wanted to play a beat 'em up for a while now, but I've already played through all the ones that I own, and I think one of the biggest problems with the genre is that after you beat the story, unless you want to replay it and go for a higher score, there generally isn't much to do. But the Streets of Rage 4 DLC added a semi-roguelike survival mode, and it feels like the perfect solution to this. I want some form of this to be in all beat 'em ups going forward. The DLC comes with 3 new characters, a ton of new weapons, and even some customization. Playing through the survival mode will unlock new moves that you can mix and match with your base moveset to build the roster to your preference. I already talked about how much I like this in my fighting games video, but goddamn, do more beat 'em ups and fighting games need to do this. All 3 of the new characters feel like excellent additions to the roster. I'm gonna still main for obvious reasons.
Can I get some uppies? Uppies?
But Max and Shiva were more fun than I initially thought they'd be. Look at how hyped this combo is.
And look at Randy Orton slithering.
Watch out, watch out, watch out, watch out!
I think a lot of people are sleeping on this DLC, but I can't recommend it enough, especially if you're already a fan of the game. Okay, so at the beginning of the series, I said that I wasn't going to talk about games that I'm always playing. But when I said that, I didn't know that Epic was going to release a season this fucking crazy. I really like the floor loot, the combat shotty is finally back, and I'm happy that they decided to keep snipers in the game, but the katana is the obvious star of the show. It's mainly a mobility tool, and I will say that it's a little annoying when you're on the receiving end of someone running away with it, but the hammer from last season was a lot worse. I love the cyberpunk and Japanese influence map changes, and the battle pass?
It's so cute. Are you shitting me? Capitalism really popped off today, ladies.
This is the best battle pass we've had since I've started playing, and it's not even close. Every one of these skins goes insanely hard. So far, this is legit gearing up to be a 10 out of 10 season, and the Attack on Titan stuff just dropped, so it might be an 11 out of 10. Humble brag incoming, I've got a pretty decent sized friend group. There can be anywhere from 6 to 9 of us in a Discord call on a given night, and a weird problem that comes with that is that there aren't many games with support for that many players at once. Most of the time we solve this by having 2 groups playing different games or maybe a few stragglers doing their own thing, but once we found out that Sons of the Forest had 8-player co-op, it was a pretty easy sell for the whole game. Sons of the Forest is the sequel to the horror open world survival craft game The Forest, but judging by how many reviews this has on Steam, you probably knew that. I never played the original mainly because I was put off by the horror elements, but this was really fun. In particular, I thought it was interesting seeing how differently everyone approaches the game. I really enjoyed discovering new locations and crafting recipes on my own, but my buddy Zach was pretty adamant about looking up a guide. I was also pretty chill with just surviving and building up our base, but my friend Eric wanted blood.
No way. Him in his leg?
Your guys' stuff like glitch where it doesn't
wait, what?
doesn't let you what way?
Oh, he's dead.
There are some perks to playing this solo, mainly that 8 people trying to cooperate can get a little hectic, but playing this with friends is definitely the way to go. I have a serious Mario problem. Really just a general platforming problem. I don't know what it is, but it seems like as I get closer to my 30s, the innate platforming skills that seemingly came pre-installed in me as a kid have plummeted. It's legitimately embarrassing how bad I can be at some of these games, and I kinda wanted to get my mojo back. I buy all of the Mario games, knowing that they're gonna be quality products and assuming that I'll eventually get to them, but I think it's one of those things where I don't really have the drive to start them up because I know I'm bad at them. Now, Mario Maker, the one where Nintendo said,
get somebody else to do it,
might not have been the best choice to hop back in, but here we are. Jokes aside, I really do think this is a genius idea on Nintendo's part, and I'm a huge fan of how it allows for levels that would never make it into an official Mario game. Like this one that's just a bunch of mini games, or this one that's kind of a math quiz. I'm mostly stuck with the easier levels, and I don't think I'll ever be someone who can beat those insanely hard low curbs monstrosities, but I think whatever type of player you are, there's some fun to be had here. Also, the Mario movie slapped, and anyone that tells you differently is a hater, so go watch that if you haven't already. And those are all the highlights of my insanely stacked March. Some of that free time that I talked about in the beginning bled over into April, so be ready for the next month to be just as packed. I've been flip-flopping with the monthly recaps and my other content, but I think the next video you guys will see will be for April, just so these can start to come out a little bit closer to the beginning of the month. But if you've enjoyed the video, be sure to leave a like, comment, and share with your friends, and if you don't want to miss any of my other uploads, you can sub to the channel for more content like this. As always, thanks for sticking around to the end, and I'll see you in the next one.